As you mentioned, previously when you would lose, hey, new team, I'm going to switch things up. But this season, you don't have that anymore. You can't take that one loss and just go, all right, we have to pack this up and, see if we can just improve elsewhere from an outside source. You have to look within the team structure this season and make improvements like that. And we have seen Vitality be one of the only teams that have not made a roster move so far in this season. Going to see if they can take down the emerging Team Queso, one of the most chaotic teams that we've got in the region. They don't know what we're doing. We don't know what they're doing. It's great fun to watch all the time.
Yeah, I love watching these guys play. They've got no fear. They, love to attack from any position. And yeah, the mechanical ability is absolutely world class. Yeah, the wall reads, the wall bounce reads, and the, just solo play potential these guys have got. Really is quite phenomenal. They read each other brilliantly, so I'm excited to see this one. I think Vitality are the slight favorites, but not by, it really is just slight. I think Queso are going to keep this very close, although it is a decent start for Vitality here. This kind of slow, awkward game is favoring them. Fairy Peak almost slots in the opening goal, but it looks like Queso will hold on here. They've got a reasonable amount of boost, so they should be able to transition.
Awkward was a very good way of describing that. I already know that Queso like to be just going at full pelt all the time, as Dementor's going to prove off the demo. Pass over to VK Salen. Double commit as well, and it almost worked out. Great read on where that ball was going to go. We won't see this offensive push given up very lightly. Alpha going to just force a little bit of danger. Double commit again defensively this time from Team Queso. They consider that just to be part of the regular rotation, so we'll see quite a few of that throughout this weekend.
I wonder if they train double commits. That would be ridiculous. Let's just go into a scrim every time there's a chance to double commit, make sure that we do it. Just get used to reacting well to those kind of situations. Here's a chance for Alpha. Dementor's going to have it covered. It's a good pressure kind of distribution so far in favor of Vitality. This is where they want to be. If they can keep Queso on the back foot, they're going to have a much better time in this series.
Alpha back past the Fairy Peak. We still await our first goal of the European Major. Dropped down there by VK Salen. Fairy Peak forced to just track back a little bit. Nobody really daring to chase him down and challenge him. Far too much respect for Fairy Peak's ability on the ball, but now K-Dop has to get himself back. Atomic and VK Salen. That was a bit of a waste there. Had a chance to maybe try and flat foot where K-Dop was on the goal line. Instead, nothing for it. Back out again. Atomic off his own backboard. VK Salen is just going to move in to try and get rid. K-Dop, ceiling reset. It seems like Vitality have had I'm going to say the better chances, because there really hasn't been many of them, but at least more pressure so far.
Yeah, a whole lot more pressure for Vitality. Well played to Queso to absorb it so effectively. It's really been about back corner boost control for them. They haven't been boost starved all that badly, despite this pressure from Vitality. And I think that's also because Vitality they're reluctant to really press up and try to control those corner boosts. They know that the counterattack is a dangerous option for Team Queso, whether it be on a counterattack or just a passing play. Now here's a chance for Vitality. Fairy Peak's landed down the line. Decides to let the ball go past him, though. And Dementor collects in the back corner. Only gets the ball as far as Fairy Peak, though. And, they are struggling to get the right plays. Now there's one. Dementor demos at the back. K-Dop on the respawn. Might have a save. It's actually a miss from VK Salen. But Atomic's going to have a free shot. Fairy Peak blocks him.
Now Alpha actually gets it over to Fairy Peak, who was almost bumped straight into the ball. Very low boost here for Fairy Peak. He's just going to show his face. He knows that he's on low boost. Team Queso might not. Just got to put that pressure on them. K-Dop bumped midair. Dementor with a chance. And boost is at a premium right now. Numerous players on very, very low, and they're trying to show that maybe they do. Fairy Peak looks to break away. It's going to be a late rotation back there from Dementor, but thankfully for him, the counterattack wasn't all that quick there from Fairy Peak. But we are starting to ramp up the pace here. Both teams seem to think they have the gauge on the other one. Looking to try and create that first chance. What a block from Fairy Peak. He's going to unleash his entire team. Alpha hooks it around top of the car. And VK Salen, calm as you like, wins the challenge in the corner. He was low boost for it as well. No issues for him. This might be Fairy Peak up. Fairy Peak scores!
What a shot by Fairy. the entire team in front of him. Everybody trying to get a save on this, but he's placed it perfectly, and he was up quick for this as well. Reads the ceiling bounce, and Fairy Peak in the legendary Batmobile opens the scoring with 15 seconds left.
15 seconds now to try and turn this around for Team Queso. He's going to drop. It's not quite anywhere they can work with right now. Demensa outplays one. He needs a hand, but VK Salen has found himself backwards, and Team Vitality have managed to grind out a win.
Yeah, Vitality looked really good here. That was a great showing from them. You know, at the end of the game, Queso were starting to threaten on the counterattacks, and they were starting to threaten just in offense in general. But, you know, credit to Vitality. They held on to that pressure, and they were very patient as well in the hunt for that goal. They didn't, you know, press for any risky shots. And I think that that's expected from Vitality. You know, they've got the experience to know what to do in these situations. They've got the experience to know how hard and how aggressively you should try and, you know, play to capitalize on all the pressure you're getting. But my goodness, that save from Alpha 54 kept them in it, kept them in the lead in terms of territory, and a clutch play there. K-Dot past the ceiling. Fairy Peak finishes it off.
Yeah, and Team Queso, they did have one chance there, though, that we did see, where Demenso did get a pass across field, just a little bit off from being able to try and turn that one in. And that is something that Vitality will need to stay very, very aware of here. That whilst Team Queso don't always look the most, I'm not going to say solid because they didn't concede for a long time there when they're in defense, but they do struggle as well to get the ball out. They are a team that wants to hit max speed, and they want to stay at max speed. Actually trying to get them to accelerate up to it can sometimes be a little bit more of a problem, but they do have to be very aware as well that Team Queso will happily leave players across the field, trust the defense to try and work with what they've got, and launch the ball towards them.
Yeah, this is the constant fear when you're up against Queso. You know, they're unpredictable. As a baseline, they're an unpredictable team. You already know that. Now, when you put them in unpredictable positions, you know, whenever there's 50-50s happening, whenever there's a chance for Queso to make a break, then it becomes amplified. Like, who knows what on earth's going to happen? Where are they going to hit the ball? Where are they going to, you know, try to make the play? Are they going to pass, make the obvious pass? Are they going to just go for a completely ridiculous solo play? You know, it's just so hard to read them. And like I said earlier, they read each other brilliantly. Now, K-Dot, oh, he's up, hit the bar, but it's gone off the crossbar rather than in off the bar. That's a rare sight. You know, usually at these kind of events, every K-Dot shot is in off the bar. So, bit of a let off there for Queso.
And that was a beautiful pass to get it over to him. K-Dot could not have asked for anything better. But right now, despite the lack of goal that I'm sure they would have wanted, still Vitality reasserting where they were in the last game. Alpha, he's got the boost for a double tap. Almost got it in. Couldn't quite find the power. But Vitality have taken the advantages that they gained in game one, and they are amplifying them. Alpha continuing to back it off that backboard. Fairy Peak just keeps that pressure on. 2 players needed just to get the ball away from him. Now, one more time. And if the ball was still rising as it hit the backboard, you know Alpha would have had the read. Now it's going to go over to Atomic. Takes a first-time touch. And this is something I'm not too sure of here from Team Queso. I would like to see them take the first-time shot rather than taking a touch and allowing Vitality to reset.
Yeah, the placement there is just all wrong. Queso just clearing the ball as it bounces off the crossbar, in essence. You know, both of those shots, they're hitting the far post, you know, a wall. And again, there, another far post wall shot. And where does it go after bouncing? It's just clear of danger. There's no follow-up threat. They've got to start hitting the post. If they're going to hit the post, they've got to hit it at the near post so that there's going to be the threat of the rebound. That's one of the things that Queso are most known for, and that's where they're most dangerous. That is going to get Vitality under a lot more pressure.
And for the first time in a while, Queso seemed to have Vitality locked in their own side of the field, but didn't seem to last too long. Nice play back. A little bit more width on the pass, though, to get it over to a teammate. Alpha, self-pass off the ball. And Alpha seems to have individual plays on the mind today. He has begun to believe in himself more and more as his time across. Oh my goodness, VK! No, Atomic! Oh!
Wow!
That was a top 3 play that was written down and edited to be put on it. And we've just had to delete the footage because that has to go in.
Yeah, he didn't read K-Dot missing. I mean, K-Dot was in an awkward position, yes, but you should be making contact with that ball. Atomic thought that as well and didn't read the whiff. But if you're in that position, if you've decided to drive all the way forward into the box aggressively like this, you have to be reading the whiff. You have to be hoping for it, because why else are you even there? Like, what else is he going to do in that position other than capitalize on a miss or a miss hit from K-Dub?
So far, we've still only had 1 goal scored. K-Dub looks to change that. And it's going to be the follow-up. Atomic keeps it out. Great redemption for earlier on, and now it's a breakaway opportunity off the backboard. K-Dub again has not got the best contact. Double commit, though. It's a skied hit. Team Queso are getting into great positions, and they just seem a little bit trigger shy, as there is going to be Vitality getting back at just the right moment to get rid. I want to see Team Queso just go for it. No more fear, no more adding extra steps to the play. Just take the chance.
Yeah, they've got to just hit the target at some point here. The ball is in Vitality's end for so long, and it's just bouncing around the box. It's just hitting off the far post wall and clearing itself, like I said earlier, and there's never been a Queso shot to threaten it. Now, that's almost open for Fairy Peak. He couldn't get around the shot. It's been an awkward game for Vitality compared to game number 1. They are scrambling for large parts of it. The saves have been difficult for them to get, even though the shot quality from Queso hasn't been all that great.
Demensa going to be off the side of the wall. That it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Vitality to react to. Oh, that's right behind, and Fairy Peak.
Oh my.
Twists and turns his car to keep it out of the net.
Yeah, it's a great save and good coverage there by Fairy. I think he also had, I think it was Alpha at the back post to help him out. Here comes Atomic, trying to get the reset, doesn't land it. K-Dub clears towards Alpha. Alpha's starting to collect a lot of these soft clears before Team Queso intercept them. He's just hanging around. He's starting to linger in the midfield. That's something we've seen Vitality do with Alpha quite a lot in the past, is get him up front, get him into that midfield position, break rotation to prevent Queso from intercepting these clears.
And get the ball to Alpha has been a winning strategy for many teams. Right now, we have got no goals over here. We're heading to overtime. Earlier on, we tried to get people to predict who they thought was going to win. I don't think anybody would have predicted 1 goal in 10 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, this is not what we're used to seeing from Team Queso. It's usually multiple goals for both teams. You know, maybe even a few own goals sprinkled in there. But that's not the Team Queso that's on show today. They're playing a much more disciplined style. I don't know if I even like that. You know, they look like their defense has improved, but they have also lost so much of their offensive threat that they usually have on display. Good clear down the middle, just hard enough that Alpha couldn't send it back in with a lot of power. Well, now K-Dub accidentally back passes to Fairy, but there he's afraid to go in on that. And I think rightfully so. That's smart by Fairy not to challenge that ball. Just lets it roll slowly at him. No threat. And once again, it's a completely disintegrated attack for Team Queso.
Demensa's pass is right down the middle. Luckily for him, no one from Vitality is waiting for it. It's not immediately, but Vitality continuing to put the pressure on. Queso have got more and more offense as this game has ticked along. Goes to K-Dub. Demo on the goal line. K-Dub can't take it past the final player. Fairy Peak will score, though. He breaks the deadlock. And match point to Team Vitality.
You can take Turbo out of K-Dub's team, but you can't take him out of his heart. Perfect turbo flick to set up what was a brutal goal for Team Queso to concede. Fairy Peak just had to send it on net. K-Dub did the rest, bumps the last defender out of the way. And just like that, Vitality are on triple match point. Team Queso, this is their first series of the day. They've not necessarily started cold, but they've definitely not been hot either. It's been lukewarm at best, and that's just not good enough on a major against Vitality.
Do I say it aloud? No, because every time I say it, okay, I'm going to say it aloud here. I'm going to say it quietly, though, so hopefully the Rocket League gods don't try and turn this against me. Johnny, what was the first match result?
Well, you know, we did have a...
it was a 1-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did have a 1-0.
This was a 1-0? So... And what's my favorite match result that I've never been able to cast?
Yeah, it would be 3 1-0s in a row. So, I mean, suddenly we've got a fan, an extra fan for Team Vitality.
Look, I'm not saying I'm biased, but I am implying
you are
it.
Yeah. But you're not saying it, but
definitely, it's implied, you know? So hopefully, all right, either one of two things here happens. Either if Queso score, they've got to take this to game 5. Like, you can't break my heart like that and then not give us a phenomenal series after the fact. But if they are going to do that, Johnny, what do they need to change here?
Well, they just need to hit the target. And hit it hard. The shots have not been good enough. They've just been hitting the ball far too slowly. And if they can just up the shot quality, they're going to score several times. Because Vitality were stationary in defense in the last game for quite a long period of time. And they were, really just waiting and hoping that Team Queso's shots wouldn't be at the quality that we're used to seeing from them. And luckily for Vitality, that's exactly what happened. Shooting wasn't good enough. The accuracy was off. The power was definitely off. And Vitality have just picked up another one goal lead.
Fairy Peak as well, one of the best goal line defenders that we've got. That is going to be blasted to the other side of the field. Demensa tries to get himself back, and he's done so.
Just in time. Demensa had to really run back for that one as a team pinch from Vitality's goal line almost makes it all the way to Team Queso's net. I know that you would probably rather Vitality score your one goal later
could wait
on
for it to
here.
be later,
yeah, you don't want it that early because it's too hard. Too hard to see it being a 1-0 if it happens in the first
minute. If we go to overtime, Johnny's taking the whole broadcast. I'm just going to be in pure silence. Atomic just pretty much passes it over to Fairy Peak, even set up quite well for him. Drops down one more time. Fairy Peak once again waiting for it. K-Dart recognizes that he's got a bit more time. Doesn't want to just put it directly into the challenging player, however, and now it's going to be Atomic one more. He's not got really much support. Team Queso can't quite figure out how to get multiple players to the other side of the field. As Alpha looks to try and take it the whole way, it drops out to Fairy Peak. It's a bit close, but he does still manage to catch it. And he's launched away one more time. That is all Queso have managed so far defensively. Get some possession and hit it as hard as you can just to try and get rid of some of the pressure that Vitality have been putting down throughout the entirety of this series.
Yeah, it's just this is the series of Vitality you want to be playing in. The more slow, the more awkward kind of gameplay, it favors them by a significant margin. Team Queso would rather play, Boomer Simulator against anyone in the world right now. Vitality are not giving them that, so credit to Vitality. They've come in with a great game plan today. Slow the game down, play lots of 50-50s, and just try to make it as awkward as possible for Queso to establish their gameplay. Now here's VK Sailing as a reset on that, but Fairy Peak's got the back wall covered. K-Dop up early for the sidewall read. Atomic lets him have it. It's not the best clear down field by Atomic. He doesn't hit it hard enough to go over the top of Alpha, who's just been far too good at intercepting pretty much everything in the midfield.
Oh my. Double commit by Alpha and Fairy Peak, and you can definitely argue that Fairy Peak had the better angle of the two. So for once, Alpha being the central part of the rotation, coming back to bite Vitality. Now Fairy Peak one-on-one. VK Sailing does not react too early, instead waits for the ball to come towards him. Nice edge roll by K-Dop. Gets past his player. That is going to be a fantastic transition of the ball. But a lot of players very far forward here, actually, from Team Vitality. VK Sailing up to Demensa. Can't quite win the race too easily as Atomic shot is blocked by Alpha. Oh! Again, just doesn't have the zip on it. I don't think that pinch was quite on target, but still, you don't want to take any risks with stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a great try by Alpha. I love that pinch, because when he doesn't have enough boost to make a wall play, it's the only way he could get the threatening shot. Oh, speaking of threatening shots, how about that? Alpha 54 just hits it perfectly. But wow, Fairy Peak and Alpha get their communication right that time. Fairy Peak jumped, backed up when he heard Alpha scream, it's his. And there's your 1-0 Shogun. Minute and 49 for Vitality to hold on to it.
I think the most threatened person on the entire pitch there was actually the woodwork of the goal. I don't think that wanted to mess around with that shot. Either that was going in or the goal was getting blown open. That is heartbreak. Oh, nobody liked that.
Well, Vitality, like I'd say about all of the French fans in chat, love what they're seeing here. 2-0. And it's not a 1-0, it's not another 1-0, but it's 3 games in a row where Vitality have led, 3 games in a row where Team Queso have not scored. And I expected this to be a lot closer here. Queso have got to get the offense rolling. They've had just none of their usual offensive plays on show today. No big solo plays. They've had no chaotic, double commit goals. I need to see something from them. Or else I'll be very confident in my prediction at the start of the day that they're not going to make day 2, because they're definitely not making day 2 playing like this.
But a lot of the way they usually play as well has a little bit to do with the aura around them. When you play against Queso, you play differently because you feel like we have to sort of manage how chaotic they're going to be. But if you lose in a perfect sweep, that aura is gone. You are now just another team. And that is going to really threaten you later on in the tournament when teams come up against you, and they won't have that respect anymore. They're not going to be worried about what you do, because instead they're going to have the blueprint here from Vitality about how to deal with this team. It's going to be infield pass. Alpha just wants to try and end it. Atomic will clear away. Queso need to find their first goal in the next 30 seconds, and they need to get another one on top of that. Seems like a near impossible task, really.
Yeah, just not happening. I mean, every single play that Team Queso are trying to make here, they're getting missed flip resets. They're, again, just sending shots, and they're sending air dribbles at the back post, and it's just bouncing harmlessly away from danger. Vitality are, doing a great job covering all angles. Infield passes are being covered. The back wall's safe. The goal is defended. Everything's going well here for Vitality. Team Queso's offense just hasn't shown up today in any way whatsoever. Unless they get 0-second goal, they're getting perfect swept here. Can Atomic just get any kind of constellation? Mensa's going to try and keep it up. You can see they want that goal. They're not going to get it. Vitality. Perfect sweep, Team Queso.
That is incredible. And Team Vitality, a team that had so many questions asked of them this season, answer in a big, big way. Taking down one of the top 4 seeds coming into this. Remember, Vitality weren't even in that top 4. That boggles the mind to start with coming into this tournament. But as we mentioned earlier on, it's about how you play the latter half of this season. Vitality have always been around. More performances like that, and BDS are going to have a major threat on their hands.
Yeah, Vitality did well. They came in with a good style to match up against Queso. They didn't fall for this kind of challenge, the gauntlet that Queso usually throw at teams, saying, "Hey, who's faster?" It's a kind of an ego thing with a lot of pro teams and players. They want to be the faster team. They want to be the more mechanical team. That's like the thing that everybody wants to be known for. But Vitality have just said, you know what? It's fine. You guys can have the speed. It's not a problem. We're just gonna keep control of the ball, and that possession play, that focus on just not giving it away for free, really benefits Vitality today. But oh my goodness, I'm worried for Queso. That offense was absolutely shocking by their standards. They had nothing going. Solo plays non-existent. Team plays non-existent, and the usual kind of unpredictable pressure wasn't there. That is just not good enough for Team Queso.
Well, it is going to be Team Vitality marching on through to the upper semi-finals. They're going to be absolutely ecstatic with that. But when we come back from break, we're going to see another team that has built their reputation on perfect sweeping teams as Dignitas takes the field against Top Blokes.